Hey CIS 102, in this video for Module 12, we are going to look at robotic process automation, otherwise known as RPA. We're going to spend a few minutes looking at a couple of RPA tasks to get an idea of how RPA can be used, and then talk a little bit more about possible use cases before wrapping up looking at some future RPA trends. Generally, companies will use some type of no code or low code software platform to generate bots that can be run to perform repetitive tasks in either legacy applications or on web applications. With low code and no code platforms, in a lot of cases, an application developer is not required, and development is actually done by the users of the application. When this happens, these users are referred to as citizen developers. This particular article here talks a little bit about RPA with those citizen developers and some of the downfalls that happen, like shadow IT, which commonly occurs in larger corporations. Since I do not have access to a low code, no code RPA toolset, I'm going to show you some simple RPA tasks using an open source framework and set of tools from Robocorp that can be downloaded and used to code RPA tasks using the Python programming language. This is not a low code or no code solution, but should give you an idea from seeing the program code execute what can be done with RPA technology. I'm basically utilizing several demo applications that I have modified slightly, but were available from either Robocorp or from pythonexamples.org. Setting up the environment to run this was a bit complex because of all the software dependencies required, which should also stress that this particular implementation is a programmer-required implementation of RPA tasks. If I switch over to Visual Studio Code, I have two different tasks that I'm going to run. The very first one is going to bring up in Chrome a page like this with my sample form. It's going to locate this first text field and add Jenny there. Locate the second text field, put Kunkel in there. It's then going to go ahead and take a snapshot. It's not actually going to submit the form. It could, but I just don't want it to do something in case they're trying to store information. So I'm going to take a snapshot of it, and then the tasks will complete at that point. So if I run it with Python, you can see it's kicking off now. There's my browser. It's put in the fields. Now notice I have the screenshot.png that was not there before. If I click on it, we can see that the same form with Jenny and Kunkel was entered before it actually did that screenshot. I'm going to look at one other example in Visual Studio Code. I'm just going to close this and go to my second instance. This one is a little bit more complex. It's going to open up Google, and it's going to go through a series where it's going to reject cookies and accept the consent and then sign in. What it's going to do is it's going to search, and we can see the search condition up here is cute Havanese picture. So it's going to look for a cute Havanese picture. Once it has that search results, it's going to take the very first one as indicated by the 0, and it's going to take and place a screenshot of that particular picture in a log file. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to just clear my terminal down here, and we're going to rerun up here. All right, so that particular task has completed for our bot. When we open up our log file, let's go ahead, and it's not going to be apparent there. Let's look at it in a browser window. Bring the browser window over. I can take a look at the tasks and go ahead and expand the try. I have my capture image result. I have where it's doing that screenshot, and within that, I can see that image that it captured. We can certainly navigate, open up web pages, we can populate form fields, we can submit web pages. So if there was some type of an application, say purchase order or sales order, that people had spreadsheets of information that needed to be manually entered into a web page to submit orders or purchase orders, an RPA bot could be set up to read through the spreadsheet, take all of the information in the actual cells, place them in their appropriate form fields, and then go ahead and submit those web pages to create the sales orders or purchase orders. That would be one manual case that could be pretty much automated to create those sales orders and purchase orders a little faster. Now, if we go through and look at the top trends with RPA, as indicated in your text, the inclusion of intelligent automation to get more of those cognitive capabilities. That is one of the big particular trends that is forecasted for 2024, as long as moving more towards cloud-based RPA. Obviously, what I was using was not cloud-based RPA, moving to more low-code, no-code RPA. Again, I wasn't using a low-code or no-code RPA. Having the user community actually develop some of these processes, that's where we get into the citizen developers. And with the introduction of the low-code, no-code, that can be more of something that happens. Then getting into human-bot collaborations. This is kind of just a little bit more information expanding on the concepts of RPA that were introduced in